Chapter 1-1. The events unfold in Chongming Province in the basement of the Luo family. To be even more precise, in the room of the eldest son of the main branch of Luo Zhen. The guy closes a small book. From his thoughts, it becomes clear that this book is described in the book. He thinks they are quite reasonable. The guy notes that he will never agree with one phrase. The phrase goes like this: pay for evil with sincerity, and for good with good. The reason why the guy has such an opinion is the past. His father was poisoned. He believes that if his father had not been so kind and trusting, this would not have happened. Then I hear footsteps in the hallway. The guy notices it right away. He quickly blows out the candle, then wraps the sheet around himself, pretending to be asleep. The lock is removed from the door, after which it is opened from the foot. A rather unsightly man enters the room. He has a huge wart over his right eye and a thin mustache. This is the Luo family's servant, Steward Fan. The man wakes up the guy very roughly with his foot. He doesn't like that he sleeps so long. He notices that only the head of the Luo family can behave like a guy. While Manager Fan continues to curse at the guy to hurry up, Zhen calmly takes a sitting position on the bed. He yawns mockingly, and then thick shackles are put on him. The man continues to swear. Meanwhile, the weather is sunny outside. A man with gray hair and a matching beard and mustache announces the end of the training session. He orders everyone present to choose their opponent, stating that practicing on a live target will prepare their bodies for real battle, as well as teach them to find all the opponent's weak points. Then he gives a command to the guards, who immediately follow the order. Several shackled men walk forward. Among them is Zhen. The guards hurry them on. Then two of the crowd start discussing what's going on. It turns out that Luo Zhen has been in such an unenviable position for 2 years now. He is beaten and beaten, but he has not changed a bit during this time. He is still strong and energetic. Observers notice that he doesn't look like a slave at all. According to residents, the guy considers himself the head of the Luo family, for which he is constantly punished by the young master. The gossips shut up when they see that the young master has already arrived. Luo Paran is the eldest son of the second branch of the Luo family, the current young master. He is also a practitioner of tempering and refining bones. Zhang and Paran's views overlap. The young master decides to start the dialogue first. The guy is amazed that Zhang hasn't been beaten to death yet. Paran notes that he has been practicing all this time. His interlocutor takes these words as a compliment, stating that it is not so easy to kill him. Two people accompanying the guy react very negatively to his words. They don't understand how a wretched slave can argue with his master. Men are preparing to punish a guy for a long tongue. Paran stops his subordinates, saying that these are small things. The young master bends over Zhang's ear to say a few affectionate words. It turns out that the Luo family kept the World Creator pills. Paran claims that he recently ate one of them. The guy praises this thing because it allowed him to more than raise his cultivation level from flesh refining to the peak of bone refining. The hero is amazed that such a thing could happen. The World Creator pills are a treasure of the Luo family. The guy doesn't understand how Paran dared to take one of them. The World Creator pills are the sacred legacy of their ancestors. They were created especially for practitioners of body cultivation. Zhen had heard that they were hidden in the most secret corners of their lands, so ordinary people would definitely not find them. According to the precepts of the forefathers, they can only be received by those who have reached the stage of bone purification before the age of 16. But in 300 years, no one has succeeded. Only one Zhen showed promise, as he was able to reach the stage of flesh purification at the age of 14. The hero breaks into a scream, starting to insult the young master who broke the precepts of their ancestors. Paran shuts up the other person. In his eyes, Zhen is just a bug. The young master explains that he has reached the peak of bone refinement and can lift half a ton with one hand. He's going to pulverize a lowly slave. Paran turns his gaze to the random slave. He notices that he is in a good mood today, so he wants to practice, so he chooses a random slave as his opponent. Energy is spreading through the young master's body. He's preparing to strike. The person who is his target recognizes the attack as a sandalwood blow, so he begs to be spared. Paran doesn't listen to him. He strikes at the slave's body, breaking the binding bracers. A clot of blood comes out of the poor slave's mouth. The body is covered with a bunch of bloody wounds. The pupils fall back. It becomes clear that this blow was fatal for him. At this moment, the crowd begins to praise the strength of the young master. One person is amazed that Paran was able to destroy a strong warrior with a single blow. At the same time, he notices that there is no one stronger than him in the Luo family. The second person says that the strength of the young master will glorify the Luo family, as well as restore its former greatness. The hero can only swallow nervously, unable to do anything. The young master approaches him, stating that he will not kill him until he can understand how pathetic he is, and how strong the guy himself is. Then Paran remembers another important detail. It turned out that he had heard that their gifted little sister Luo Yan had made a mess of things in the Kinyan sect. He notices that, apparently, she crossed the road of some important person, for which she was exiled to purgatory. The young master adds that right now he is sending them to the Kinyan sect. He believes that while he is on the road, he will have time to reach the stage of cleansing the internal organs in order to save his sister. On the way back, Perrin plans to find the girl a groom from some noble family. In that case, his sister will be of some use, he thinks. These words infuriate the hero. He shouts at him not to touch her. This sounds like a threat, so the young master just laughs at it, noticing that the interlocutor is not able to defend himself, so all these statements are just empty words. After that, Perrin even wonders what a miserable slave can do to him. The hero's reaction becomes clear when we learn about his connection with his sister. It turns out that they grew up together. The guy admits that she is the only loved one who survived. The girl had an unusual talent, which caused her to be chosen by the Kinyan sect and accepted into the inner gate. In this way, she managed to avoid all the problems that had befallen their family. Yan had always been obedient, so she would never get into trouble. The hero is sure that someone set her up. Zhen admits that all the past is no longer important. Even though he was made a slave, he didn't care about the sacred regalia of his ancestors. He doesn't even care if Luo Perrin inherits the entire family fortune, but he can't allow anyone to offend or hurt his sister. The hero sets a goal to save his sister. After a while, the hero fights in his room with the manager Fan. He doesn't understand why he only got one healing pill. He points out that the Luo family gives out 3 pills every day, so the guy assumes that the other person pocketed the rest for himself. Zhen notes that stealing from the Luo palace is a serious crime. The hero begins to threaten the manager with death. Fan shrugs it off, saying that the guy should thank him for getting something. The man admits that he is afraid of death, but he asks the interlocutor to pay attention to himself, stating that the guy does not understand what he is doing here, and he is no longer the head of the Luo family. The hero can't stand such bullying. He punches the other person in the nose, literally driving him into the wall of the room. When the victim falls to his knees, the guy reminds the interlocutor of his status. Zhen says that Fan is just a manager, not a manager, a member of the family, so he's not supposed to act like that. He notes that he can easily hit him. The manager runs out of the hero's room, shouting that the slave will regret raising his hand against him. Zhen is angry at what is happening. He slams his hand down on the table, realizing that this whole thing might be a planned trick by Perrin, who was about to raise his level to the bone refinement stage to go rescue Luo Yan, but the amount of pills was cut down. The hero pays attention to the book. Out of anger, he tears it apart, saying that there is no use in great truths when he needs help. He holds the torn pieces of the book up to the candle. The guy calms down a little. He apologizes to his sister, saying that he is completely useless, because of which he will not be able to save her. When the book is almost burnt out, Zhen realizes what a stupid thing he has done. He understands that the book did not do anything bad, but rather it instructs people on a great good path. Well, everything that happens is only the fault of a guy who is too weak. The guy tries to put out the fire on the book with his hand, but it's useless. Suddenly, the remains of the book are scattered into glowing yellow leaves, which begin to hover around the hero. Zhen touches one of them, trying to figure out what it is, but there is some unfamiliar writing on the leaves. There are a lot of leaves. The guy has a premonition of some kind of danger, but does not understand where it comes from. In an instant, all the leaves are torn off in his direction. They wrap around his right hand, where black tablets appear. The sheets don't stop there. They begin to stick all over the hero's body. He tries to tear them off in a panic, but there are too many pieces of paper. Zhen doesn't understand what's going on at all. When the guy's entire body is covered with leaves, the black symbols absorb all his flesh. The hero falls to the stone floor. A voice in the guy's subconscious tells him strange things. He says that the imperial weapon tempering is the first of the ancient temperings. A guy's body is a blade, and his soul is a guide. 1,000 hammers strike would purify his body, for the sake of primordial chaos. The hero comes to his senses. He doesn't understand what all this can mean. He doesn't believe that such weapon tempering can turn his body into a mysterious artifact. Steam emanates from the hero's body. All the veins on the body are rising, almost tearing the skin. A cry of pain escapes his lips. The hero realizes that he is on fire. He asks for water. There is a water tank ahead of us, but we still need to get to it. Zhen is barely conscious, noticing that his body feels like it's on fire. The guy jumps into a container of water. It gives off steam. The hero realizes that he is getting better. He notices that the whole process is like quenching steel, but he notices that something is going wrong. Steam fills the entire room. The guy doesn't understand what's going on. Mystical blue energy destroys the vessel with liquid in which he stands. After a moment, the stone container turns into small pieces, and all the water completely evaporates. The hero finds himself in a strange space. He's not familiar with this place. He seems to be floating in space, and above his head is a huge cauldron, which immediately catches the eye. There are 9 dragons carved on it, and 8 of them have their eyes closed. He notices that the 9th dragon is staring at him intently. Suddenly, this dragon comes to life. It roars loudly as it starts moving around the cauldron, which is emitting black smoke. A creature from the myths hits the vessel with its tail, after which the cauldron falls. A strange black smoke begins to flow out of it, which is preparing to engulf the hero. Zhen screams in unbearable pain. His body tries to become one with the smoke, but at that moment a bright star lights up above the cauldron. The guy notices that his body begins to recover, but immediately after these words, black smoke again absorbs the hero's body. At the same time, a rattling sound begins to emanate from the vessel, as if someone is striking bells. A guy wakes up screaming in the real world. He stands up, noting that he's finally awake. It feels like his body seethes with power. Zhen realizes that cauldron has tempered his body and soul. He notes that he has never felt so strong before, and he performs several test blows through the air. The hero is overwhelmed by his power. He understands that this weapon tempering technique has transformed his body into a special kind of weapon. In his opinion, it is no longer some useless vessel. The next morning, several people break into the guy's room, headed by the manager. The latter decided to punish the slave for what he had done. He orders his subordinates to punch him. The trio pounces on the hero from all sides. Zhen also takes a defensive stance, taking all the punches. While the hero is being hit from all sides, he is surprised to realize that everything is different this time. He doesn't feel the pain of his opponent's punches, and his body feels warm as if it's being cleansed. Then he remembers the words that rang in his head last night. It is about the following words: "My body is a blade, and my soul is a guide. The blows of 1,000 hammers will purify my body." Zhen notes that perhaps this is the meaning of these words. The hero realizes that if he can purify his body by receiving blows, then he will not need pills at all. He assumes that he can reach the internal organ purification stage at this rate, so he decides that it's better to make everyone angry. Zhen provokes opponents by saying that they hit like girls. His words make those who beat him freeze in surprise. Then the manager himself intervenes, who throws the guy a couple of meters back with a kick to the stomach from his leg. Fan is very angry, not understanding who Zhen thinks he is. He wants to test him even more, so he orders them to capture him. Events are moved to the street. Manager Fan communicates with Elder Huan. Fan begins to bring up the question from afar. First, he remembers the rumor that the elder needed a slave. After that, he offers Luo Zhen for this candidate, stating that you can do whatever your heart desires with him. Wang examines the hero from afar, then says that the guy will be suitable for serving him food. The man also hopes that the third master will not mind, noting the fact that once upon a time the master helped him get everything that he has now. Fan also points out that the man is the chief steward of the Luo family, so there shouldn't be any questions about him. Manager Fan warns the other person that Luo Zhen is too arrogant, noting the fact that the guy still considers himself the head of the Luo family. Fan asks to take care of him properly, assuring that the young master will not be left in debt. Wang takes these words for granted, then turns to the slave. He asks if the guy is still tired of standing, and then says that you need to kneel before your master. The hero doesn't react to this in any way. Fan repeats Huan's order, demanding that Zhen kneel down. The man is angry at the behavior of the new slave, not understanding how he dared to disobey him, so he orders his subordinates to capture him. The hero also notices that Huan Ji and Fan Zun do not have the nerve, because even his uncle would not dare to treat him like this, so the guy does not understand who these two think they are. Fan also claims that Zhen is a real psycho, because at the moment he is just a whipping boy, and for disobeying his master, he will be executed. At this point, the stone board that binds the hero's hands splits with force. The hero repeats the manager's words about disobeying the master, noting one important detail. He asks everyone present who is really the master. He does not allow anyone to speak out, clarifying his point of view on this issue, from which it becomes clear that, for him, the master is the one who is more than a fist. Zhen adds that his strength surpasses them, so he is the master here. After that, he conducts a visual demonstration. The guy reminds that his surname is Luo, and that everyone present is on the lands of his family. With a powerful punch to the face, he slams Fan into the wall. Zhen then goes on to say that some pathetic foreigner shouldn't tell him about the rules of conduct of his own clan. Huan starts to talk about the consequences if the guy touches him, stating that Mr. Chen Yun won't just let him go. The man reminds the hero that he is just a disenfranchised bug in the Luo family, so he should be afraid of being beaten to death. The hero also notes that it is clearly not up to his interlocutor to decide all this, after which he adds that he definitely needs to memorize a couple of the rules of his clan right now. Zhen slaps Huan in the face, speaking of the first rule, which is that the Luo family's word is law, and only they have the right to decide anything here, and the words of strangers are nothing to them. After that, the hero calls 2 more rules, striking the other person's face. The second rule is that the Luo family has the right to punish bad deeds and arbitrariness. The third rule is that the Luo family punishes those who blatantly lie and distort the truth. The whole beaten Huan comes to Mr. Chengyan. He asks the young master to protect his subjects. The man also notes that trying to make Luo Zhen a personal slave who would feed him with a spoon was stupid, because even he considered it inappropriate to take him as a servant. All bandaged up, Huang declares that he will not dare to do something like this again, and then wants to be helped anyway. His interlocutor assures him not to worry, because after all, Huang is his man, so he will still get even for him. Young Master Chenian claims that their tournament is still a month away. A pill appears in his hands, thanks to which a man plans to exceed his limits. He thinks that then Zhen will beg him to die. Chapter 1-2. A month passes. The clan tournament begins. Everyone is greeted by a man who says that today they expect full return from their students and great fighters. He encourages them to show what they can do. This person's name is Luo Zhen. He is Luo Zhen's third uncle, and he is also a practitioner of internal organ cleansing. The hero's third uncle announces the good news that due to his outstanding talent, the young master of the Luo family, his nephew Luo Perrin, has received an invitation from the Qinyuan sect. Everyone present admires how strong their young master is. Zhen also notes that it's not about Perrin's talent, but about the world creator pill, which is so powerful that the guy was invited to the Qinyuan sect. The hero can hardly imagine how many privileges the members of the Inner Gate sect have. He knows that it won't be so easy to save little sister Yan. But Zhen isn't going to wait any longer, so he's going to do it today. It turns out that the clan tournament is a special annual event of the Luo family, which tests the strength of all warriors and students. The guy knows that for a live target to defeat one of them means to get freedom, but if you lose, you will be killed in front of everyone. All this month, the hero did not sit idly by. He was looking for fights with everyone, which allowed him to reach the peak of bone refinement. Zheng is saddened by the fact that the strength of the Luo family's disciples was getting lower over time, so he had to practice sandalwood strikes himself. The guy notes that while he can't reach the 8th level of the close-range strike technique that his father achieved, but the 7th level will be enough to deal with all of them. The hero is determined. He plans to take first place in this tournament and earn his freedom. At this time, Luo Jiani announces the first fight in which his son, Luo Chengyan, is to beat. The guy points his finger at the hero, which causes him confusion, but this is a false impression, because in fact Chenian chose the big man who was standing behind Zhen as his opponent. Young Master hurried to start the fight. He invites the enemy to show their power. The big guy understands that together with the victory over such a strong opponent, he will get freedom, so the giant snaps at his enemy. Shenyuan also takes a fighting stance, from which he deals a series of powerful blows, each of which leaves a through hole in the enemy's body. Junni announces the winner of the first fight. Shenyuan stops the judge, demanding not to rush, because he has chosen an opponent to warm up, but the real opponent is still waiting for him. The young master points his finger at the hero, after which Junni invites the guy to enter the ring. Zhen suggests that this choice of the young master is related to the fact that he beat Huanji. The guy notices that Shenyuan couldn't deal with him right away, so he decided to leave it to the tournament. Opponents greet each other. The young master reminds him that his enemy is an older brother from the main family. The guy declares that he has already reached the peak of bone refinement, so he suggests that the hero start praying for mercy, then he will let Zheng die a quick death. The hero also notices that the enemy should watch his language, and then calls for the battle to begin. Shenyuan doesn't understand where his opponent is in a hurry, because he also wanted to explain how he managed to level up so quickly. Zhen understands everything without words. He doesn't understand how his opponent dared to go against the precepts of the ancestors and eat the pill. Shenyuan claims that since his brother Perrin did it, he is no worse than him. The guy is going to enter the Qinyuan sect sooner or later. The fight begins. The first blow gets the hero in the gut. The hero is surprised by the strength of the enemy, noting that the heat again spreads throughout his body much stronger than before. Zheng is hit by a series of crushing blows from the young master. One of the observers notices that Chenyun is very strong. After all, he has already reached the 6th level in the technique of close-range strikes. The hero breaks the distance, exhaling heavily. He notices that it's been a long time since he's experienced such warmth in battle. He likes the feeling. His opponent is puzzled by what is happening. He doesn't understand how this is possible. Shenyuan realizes that the hero has not suffered any damage from his blows. He's terrified of the monster in front of him. People in the crowd notice that Luo Zhen was an order of magnitude stronger than before. Qinyuan also noted the fact that Luo Zhen had become much stronger in battle. The man suggested that a member of his family learned a special defense technique, which, theoretically, could be taught by his older brother. Meanwhile, the hero continued to provoke his opponent to fight. Chen Yuan stated that he wasn't finished yet. He didn't like the hero's face very much, because he realized that Zhen was mocking him. He took off at top speed, preparing to launch a jump shot. The hero received this kick, which literally knocked him to the floor, sending a pile of dust, smoke, and boulders into the air. A cloud of dust rose, revealing the silhouette of a man on one of the stones torn from the floor. The referee declared Chen Yun's victory. The latter noted that it was not easy. He had already turned around to leave, but a voice from the side asking if he liked it made him turn around. Zhen Luo was standing on his own 2 feet right in front of the opponent, who was greatly surprised by this. The hero also noted that his opponent liked it, but now it's his turn to attack. Qin Yun took off, knowing that things were bad, but they didn't have time to do anything. Zhen was very close to the opponent very quickly, and then he launched a series of dozens of punches, knocking out all the spirit from Chen Yun. Chen Yun flew a dozen meters away. One of those present did not understand what happened, but noted that the guy is a real monster. His colleague echoed this, stating that Zhen had mastered the 7th level of close-range combat techniques. It's much stronger than young masters. Qin Yun quickly got close to the defeated guy, trying to quickly assess his condition. The hero made it clear that there was no point in being afraid, since he didn't kill Chen Yuan. Moreover, the guy reminded all the rules of the tournament, according to which he can now be free and can leave the Luo family. Qin Yun reacted very negatively to the hero's words. He admitted that they had made a mistake in sparing his life. The man confessed that he did not expect that the guy would be able to rise to such a level. Qin Yun told him not to be under any illusions, that defeating his son meant absolutely nothing, and that the rules Zheng was talking about were only followed by his brainless father. The man made it clear that he was the law in the Luo family. Qin Yun attacked the hero with a powerful kick to the body, which drove the guy into the wall. Zheng fell out of the cracked wall, trying to catch his breath. A man approached him, demanding to reveal the secret of his defensive technique. In this case, he will spare the guy's life. Zhen admits that he was too naive to expect them to follow all the rules of their family. The guy noted that he thought that at least they would keep the law. The hero reminded him of what Qin Yun had done. It was this man who killed his own brother, robbed Zheng of his position as head of the family, and allowed him to eat the holy pills. The guy said that his enemy had already done too much harm to him, so he wouldn't let the only thing he had be taken away. The hero admitted that everyone present here is a bunch of garbage. He noted that the day would come when he would deal with them with his own hands in order to take revenge in the name of his father. Zhen took off, making a sudden dash towards Qin Yun. A powerful blow caught the enemy's stomach, knocking him back a good distance, but the man remained standing on his feet. He also noticed that Zhen's punch had surpassed 3,500 kilograms. Qin Yun breathlessly turned to the hero, trying to find out when he managed to overcome the level of internal organ purification. The guy did not hide the fact that he did it just now, thanks to the blow of the man. Qin Yun was caught by his son's shoulder. Everyone present does not understand how this is possible, and the hero offers to challenge him to those who are against his freedom. Someone else's hand falls on the guy's head. Luo Zhen's second uncle, Luo Bingquan, who is the current head of the Lu clan and who is halfway to the celestial realm, appeared behind the hero. He placed his hand on the boy's head, then slammed the boy's entire body into the stone road under his feet. The second uncle lifts the hero by the hair, saying that he saved his life as a sign of love for his ancestors. He denounces that Zhen dared to attack his third uncle in an attempt to escape from the Luo clan. The head of the Luo clan held a gun to the hero's throat, noticing that since the guy so wants to die, then he will fulfill his wish. Zhen is aware of the hopelessness of his situation. He can't believe that his journey will end here. He apologizes to his sister, whom he was never able to save. Qin Yun intervenes in this matter. He asks you not to kill the guy because he is raising his cultivation level very quickly. Third uncle notes that Zheng's cultivation speed is even faster than Perrin and Chen Yuan with the World Creator Pill. He wants to find out what's going on. The man also claims that he does not know what kind of blow the guy was able to get, but his body is much stronger than an ordinary person. The second uncle decides that it is necessary to punish the hero for his behavior. He demands that Zhen tell him about the miracle that saved him. In this case, he will die quickly. The guy says no. This annoys Chief Luo, but something from the outside catches his attention. A huge spinning ball falls on them. The head of the Luo clan leaves the hero under attack, avoiding the attack, but the object falls only next to Zhen, not touching him. Second uncle wants to know what caused this mess. He is preparing to accept the attack of a huge spinning boulder. The second uncle repels the object, which stops after several circular movements. It turns out that this is a cauldron from which a person comes out. This is Dark Weapon Master Xilan, who is halfway to the celestial realm. He approaches the guy lying down, saying that he was lucky. He lifts the hero by the neck, noticing that he was just passing by and accidentally found such a valuable exhibit. Xilan wants to take Shen with her, if no one is against it. He turns his attention to second uncle, which stands a few meters away from him. The head of the Luo family notes that before him is the master of dark tools, Xilan, who creates special and strange tools. He understands that this is a man of a dangerous profession and has a lot of intimidating techniques. The man doesn't understand why such a person would want Luo Zhen. On the man's face, you can read doubts and uncertainty in victory. After all, they are on the same level of strength, which means that their battle can be seriously delayed. Is it worth starting a fight, risking everyone around you to kill Luo Zhen?